I am about to disclose the secrets of the British anthology horror film Ghost Stories. Please note that there may be spoilers ahead, so stay cautious and attentive as we move forward. The film begins with Philip Goodman sitting in his book-filled office, surrounded by papers. He is a well-known professor and a television presenter who is passionate about exposing fraudulent psychics and superstitions. Throughout his career, Goodman has devoted himself to protecting people from the harmful effects of superstitions, which he personally experienced when his father disowned his sister for dating an Asian man. Despite his professional accomplishments, Goodman is struggling with loneliness and is still single. He is searching for a greater purpose in life beyond his work. It has been a long time since he has felt truly inspired, and he is still determining what he wants. However, everything changes when he receives an unexpected invitation that piques his interest and takes him on an unexpected journey. As Goodman sets out on this new adventure, he begins to discover a whole new world of possibilities that he never knew existed. He encounters unexpected obstacles along the way, but he remains determined to find the truth. The journey takes him to places he never imagined and introduces him to people who will change his life forever. Goodman receives an invitation from Charles Cameron, a well-known paranormal investigator from the 1970s. Cameron's work had a significant impact on Goodman when he was a young boy. However, Cameron has been missing for several years and is currently living in a caravan where he is sick and financially struggling. Despite the years that have passed, Goodman is excited by the prospect of meeting his childhood hero and jumps at the opportunity to visit Cameron. Despite Cameron's current poor health and impoverished living conditions, Goodman is excited to reconnect with the man who had such a profound impact on him. Cameron tells Goodman about 3 incidents of supposed supernatural ghost sightings and asks him to investigate them. With his skepticism and dedication to the truth, Goodman sets out on a mission to uncover the truth behind these mysterious occurrences. In the following scene, Philip Goodman carries on with his investigation of the 3 cases assigned to him by Charles Cameron. He decides to focus his attention on the first case, which revolves around a night watchman named Tony Matthews. Matthews is tormented by the ghost of a young girl while on duty in an abandoned women's asylum. His experiences have been so intense that he is on the verge of a nervous breakdown. As Goodman delves deeper into the case, he discovers that Matthews has suffered numerous personal tragedies in his life. The loss of his wife to cancer weighs heavily on him, and he is racked with guilt over not visiting his daughter, who is stricken with locked-in syndrome. Despite his personal struggle, Matthews is determined to keep working and providing for his daughter. Goodman's investigation takes him to the asylum, where he experiences firsthand the terrifying presence of the ghost. He begins to question his skepticism and begins to consider the possibility that the supernatural does exist. However, he remains determined to uncover the truth behind the ghost's appearance and to help Matthews find peace. After that, Philip Goodman moves on to the second case that Charles Cameron tasked him with investigating. He meets a teenager named Simon Rifkind, who is deeply fascinated by the occult and has a strained relationship with his parents. Goodman feels a sense of unease about this case, but he is determined to find a rational explanation for the incidents that Simon has reported. He believes that the supposed victims have imagined these occurrences based on their neurosis. Despite his skepticism, Goodman finds himself increasingly drawn into the mysterious and eerie world of the paranormal as he investigates Simon's case. He examines Simon's car after it breaks down in the woods and finds no evidence of any supernatural occurrence. Goodman suggests that Simon's preoccupation with the occult has perhaps led him to imagine the entire incident. He remains convinced that the rational explanation lies within the mundane. However, the encounter leaves Goodman with an uneasy feeling, as though there may be more to the story than meets the eye. As he continues his investigation, he uncovers shocking truths about Simon's past and the events that have led him to become so obsessed with the paranormal. Goodman begins to question his own beliefs and skepticism as he struggles to come to terms with the possibility that the supernatural may indeed exist. The third case that Philip Goodman investigates involves a financier named Mike Priddle. He is being tormented by a poltergeist while waiting for the birth of his child. His deceased wife's ghost appears to him during this time and passes away while giving birth to their child, which is hinted at being inhuman. The case ends tragically as Priddle takes his with a shotgun. Goodman's mind is reeling from the events of the investigation. His beliefs, which were once so steadfast, are now on shaky ground. He grapples with the unnerving possibility that the supernatural might actually exist, and that everything he's worked for may have been in vain. The weight of uncertainty presses down on him heavily, leaving him to contemplate the implications of what he's just experienced. The disturbing events of the third case leave Goodman questioning everything he thought he knew about the world. He's forced to confront the possibility that there may be things beyond the realm of rational explanation, and that the supernatural may be real. This realization shakes him to the core, and he's unsure of how to proceed. Despite the uncertainty and doubt that plague him, Goodman is determined to find answers. He delves deeper into the mysteries of the cases he's investigated, seeking out any clues or evidence that might shed light on the truth. His journey takes him down a dark and terrifying path, but he remains resolute in his search for answers. Goodman is struck by a realization that the horror he's been investigating may not be just an external force, but a reflection of our own inner demons. This leads him to confront Cameron with his newfound understanding, but it turns out that Cameron is not who he seems to be. As the truth about Cameron's past is uncovered, Goodman is faced with the most difficult challenge of all, confronting the darkest parts of himself in order to move forward. As the truth of the paranormal investigations is revealed to Goodman, he finds himself in a shocking and terrifying situation. Charles Cameron, who he believed had been missing for decades, is actually Mike Priddle, the financier who committed. At first, Goodman believes that he is the victim of an elaborate hoax, but soon reality breaks down altogether. Priddle reveals to Goodman that he has been manipulating him all along, taking him on a journey to confront the darkest aspects of his past. The childhood incident with the bullet boy is just the beginning. Priddle shows Goodman a series of hallucinations and memories that confront him with his deepest fears and regrets. Goodman is forced to confront his own personal demons and accept the truth about himself and the guilt he feels for actions committed over 30 years in the past. He realizes that his skepticism towards the supernatural was actually a way of avoiding the painful truth about his own life. As we see that Goodman actually lies in a hospital bed with full body paralysis, he is left to grapple with the enormity of what he has just experienced. The trauma of his past has been brought to the surface, and he is forced to confront it head-on. Reality is a shocking and painful experience. He is unable to move or communicate due to having locked-in syndrome, and he realizes that all the supernatural events he thought were real were actually just illusions created by his own mind. He sees the objects and people in his hospital room in a new light, realizing that they have been reimagined in his mind as part of his investigation. The doctors believe he is completely unaware of his surroundings, but Goodman's inner voice screams out, desperate to be heard. Despite his physical paralysis, he realizes that he must fight to make his thoughts and feelings known to the outside world. The movie ends with a glimmer of hope as Goodman begins to move a finger, signaling the possibility that he may one day be able to communicate again.